Welcome back. As millions of students across the country head back to school, new research shows that far fewer will be attending public school. According to a poll by Education Next, enrollment in public school dropped by 4% over the last 2 years. That's about 2 million fewer students in classrooms.
Now, the poll also found that more parents are turning to less traditional forms of schooling, like private schools and even homeschooling. Newsy's national correspondent Kat Sandoval takes a look at what's driving this trend.
Around the country, some school districts will begin the school year wondering, where is everybody?
At least in Illinois, I know many other states, less kids means less resources coming to your district.
Enrollment is down for public elementary schools. An analysis of last year's enrollment by AP and Chalkbeat finds 1 in 3 Chicago schools now have fewer than 300 students. LA, New York, and Boston are seeing similar trends of empty desks. Shrinking enrollment may force some districts in places like Denver, Indianapolis, and Kansas City, Missouri to close schools entirely. The Dickinson family in Wheaton, Illinois says they were hesitant to pull their daughter out of school.
The idea of taking Caroline out of school was frightening, but the idea of keeping her in the school the way it was going with the just lack of, what's the wording? The lack of communication, consistency, the way it was run, it was just like months wasted.
They started homeschooling when the pandemic hit. Now they want to stick with it.
It's been consistent, it's been rigorous, she's excelled.
While the pandemic may have contributed to the decline of traditional public school enrollment, there's more to this story.
COVID has had an impact in some places, but those are micro impacts compared to the fact that we just, as a country, have a lot less babies that are growing up to be students.
Kids First Chicago has studied the school slowdown. They say particularly in Chicago, enrollment declines are driven by the slowing growth of Latino families and a steady exodus of Black families out of the city. Another contributing factor, kids just aren't showing up because of quarantines or other causes. 50% of students in LA were considered chronically absent.
So chronic absenteeism has at least doubled nationwide. In some places, it's increased even higher because there's a lot of local variation.
Hetty Chang at Attendance Work says they define chronic absenteeism as missing 10% of school. Now they're seeing students miss as much as 50% or more.
If you're looking at the signs, you start to see it happening. And chronic absence is an early warning sign that kids might not re-enroll the following year.
Like so many, Chang is looking for a solution.
To keep kids in school, to keep kids staying connected, you really need to take what we call a tiered support that invests in prevention.
Experts say growth is possible when families see schools as a place of community beyond the school day, a resource beyond education, but also food and healthcare. Kat Sandoval, Newsy, Chicago.